na 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 VRC na 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 VRC na 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 VRC. Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Virtual Racers Club. We are here at Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium for round 9. So let's get our waffles out, shall we? And get some chocolate on. So round 9 of the VRC GT4 Championship. What a season we've had on our hands. And we are here with the penultimate round. And the championship's close between Talleyrand and Homesick Alien. But Talleyrand needs good points around here at Spa. What is the GT4 Championship, I hear you ask? It's the ultimate GT4 Championship. Drivers will race their pedigree sports cars at 10 different locations around the world. Each venue will host a variety of races, ranging from a series of breakneck sprints to strategy testing endurance races. And what we have here, my friends, is one of those said strategy testing endurance races. We've got 60 minutes of racing here at Spa-Francorchamps, 24-hour track. It's no difference. The pits comes out at a different part. They've had 10 minutes of qualifying, and I believe there are no tyre rules when it comes to endurance racing. They can just use the tyres they wish to use, but I can't confirm that because I'm not seeing it in front of me. Next page. The rules with the tyres are, let's just say they can use whatever tyres they damn well please. Endurance race, 60 minutes, available compounds, softs, mediums, hards, inters and wets. Oh yeah, let's not forget, Spa can be rainy sometimes if it's not on random and we make it rain, but I think it is on random, so we'll probably not see any rain whatsoever. Right then, I've gabbled on now for 2 minutes or so. Let's have a look at the grid, shall we? Let's see how they qualify in this lovely Belgium scenery. I'm just hitting like of my own video because I'm that narcissistic. Read then. So, Talleyrand is another Ferrari on pole. Has anyone ever, well, I know for a fact they've not been on pole in every race, but they've done a damn fine job of it, and Talleyrand needs every point he can get against the other Ferrari if he wants to take this championship. And he, at the moment, has got score 1 on the Richter scale. He's got 1 point for pole. In second, we have Homesick Alien donning the JPS Ferrari livery. I don't even know if JPS are around anymore, but it looks cool. They're not like that anymore. They're murky green. Then we have in third Matt Psycho. He's been a trier this season. He really has tried to take the fight to the Ferraris, but that McLaren just lacking a little bit. Down the straights, in the corners, you name it. In fourth place, we have we definitely have the Honda, don't we? I haven't missed it. There's a big gap in it going around this corner. The Honda of a Skyjacker. I was in a Honda in this series, had to duck out, but Skyjacker has been doing it for us all. I wonder what that is. Is that a monster thing? Unleash the Beast, and he's got a little man walking with his arm up. Interesting. So, yes, that is Skyjacker. He's had a so-so championship. I think he's kind of got a love-hate with the Honda. Wishes it was faster, but the handling is superb. Then we have in, I've lost count, 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth place, Sharon, the Russian sensation in the bogey green Porsche. And he is, he's always threatening. He's quick off the line, but for some reason his races have been falling apart lately. And we want to see that Porsche on the podium after 60 minutes. Then in 7th, is it? 6th? 1, 2, 3, 4. I think it's 6th. I think it's 5th, actually. No, it's 6th. 6th is Big Dan, the man. Big D, Big Cuddly Bear, in his Dodge Viper Rich Energy sponsored. And it looks fantastic. It really does. Unfortunately, it guzzles gas. It rips away tyres. It's just no good as a racing car, but it looks absolutely fan-dabby-dozy. Then in 7th, let's say, it's Jim 66 in the Aston Martin. He's been crusading this season. That car has shown flashes of greatness, but for some reason it doesn't warm up into a race until at least halfway through. But Aston Martin in 7th. 8th place, then it's the Nissan of Silverstar in his Lucasade sponsored monster. Nissan looking to get some points today. Then behind him, because I've lost count, I think it's 8th, is the Nissan of Baza. So the two Nissans are looking slow, but they look good in the race though, don't they? They obviously don't qualify well, but in the race they are the bee's knees. So check out for the Bazinator. And then in 9th, it's the lovely, delectable Mrs. Guesty. What a hottie. The car, I mean. But I'm sure the driver is just as hot. I wouldn't know. Right then, that's the grid. Let's crack on. I never know what to say. I'm so politically incorrect. Shall we have a quick blast around, see what tyres everyone's decided to start on? Talleyrand's on the softs. Home6 gone for soft. Nat Psycho is starting on the soft. Skyjacker trying out a hard tyre. Then Sharen, he's gone on softs. Big Dan, he's gone for a medium tyre. Jim has gone for a medium tyre. Silverstar going for the mediums. Bazza's going for the mediums. And Mrs. Guesty is going for the softs. Oh, it's come back to Guesty. I'm sure it is Mrs. Guesty. Right then, people. Hold on to your hats. We're ready to go, finally, for 60 minutes of racing at Belgium. Let's go. Hey ho. As they start the rolling start, Talleyrand leads them around in the Ferrari, and it's a go, go, go here at Spa for 60 minutes of fantastic racing, we assume. Homesick Alien then chasing down that lead Ferrari through Rouge and Radion and onto Baltimore, maybe? I don't know, so come on. Matt Psycho trying to keep the Ferraris in sight. Then we've got some kerfuddling round here, and Skyjacker obviously a sitting duck with those hard tyres on. Sharen already through. Big Dan is coming through. And Skyjacker and Jim are side by side, but Jim's going to late break it into the chicane. And oh, Jim, it looks like, I don't know if that was a knock from... Oh, hang on. No, there was no one on the inside. Oh, Silverstar swapped to the inside. No. Oh, yes, Silverstar giving Jim a little knock there and sending Skyjacker into the scenery. But he survived well. He's still sixth. He's still sixth ahead of Jim. And the Bazza now on him. The Nissan swapping places as Silverstar takes the back seat and Mrs. Guesty puts a move on the inside of Silverstar. Can the little Porsche do it? Of course it can. Excuse me. So the Porsche making the moves and Skyjacker, excuse me, Skyjacker struggling on those hard tyres in that corner, has lost position to Jim and the Baz and Mrs. Guesty. Look at her go. She's on the soft tyres, but still, you've got to make the moves. Meanwhile, Talleyrand still leads, but Homesick Alien is right on his bumper, and he's not giving Skyjacker a second to breathe in this race. And Matt Psycho has pulled away with them as Sharen in fourth, leaving Big Dan behind. And then there's another gap between Big Dan and Jim, and then Jim in the thick of it there with the Baz, Mrs. Guesty, Silverstar and Skyjacker maybe starting to think the hard tyre was not the right way to go. And we'll see. Talleyrand then still leads on this first lap, but Homesick has been giving him some real things to think about, some real life-asserting motivation to stay ahead. And Homesick still nailing that pressure all over the back of Talleyrand as we sit aboard the Psycho of Madness, and in his McLaren trying to do a Lando and gain from these Ferraris, and Homesick having a look around the outside of Le Saux. There's nothing going then, and we are going to sit alongside Matty Psycho as we hit Eau Rouge, baby. Coming down the straight, flooring it as much as we can into 7th gear. Sharon still in 4th, Big Dan 5th. Mrs. Guesty up into 6th. She's got the move on Bazza, and Jim's disappeared. We'll have to go back and have a little look. That was rather nice. Oh, there's movement up ahead. Homesick getting a tow, and Talleyrand having to go defensive on the inside. Now Talleyrand has got the inside line, but Homesick right there around the outside. Now Homesick's on the inside. And is it a change of the lead here? No, because Talleyrand's still there side by side through this section of road in. And Matt Psycho is getting an absolute... Well, he's joining the club. No, he's not. He's backed out of that one. It says too rich for my blood. You Ferraris go for it. And Talleyrand maintains the lead, but Homesick could lose. 2nd place to Matty Psycho. But he cannot find a way. But that's helped Sharon get closer. Big Dan then in 5th. Guesty, Mrs. Guesty is up into 6th ahead of the Baz. Silverstar, Skyjacker, and Jimbo is right down the field. I do not understand what's happened. I'm not going back because we've only just gone to lap 2. We've got 60 minutes of racing. And man alive, if I watch everyone that hits Jim, we'll be here all day. Jim's got like a big target on his car. Just seems like people aim for him. Talleyrand then leads from Homesick, Alien, and Matt Psycho in 3rd, and Sharon is right in the action now in the Porsche. Big Dan isn't that far behind. If something goes wrong ahead of him, he's there to pick up those pieces, baby, like you used to do in your 20s at 3 a.m. at a nightclub, picking up the pieces. Guesty in 6th. She's doing a cracking job. I'm sure she's never been picked up at 3 a.m. in a nightclub. Bazza in 7th, Silverstar in 8th, Skyjacker in 9th, and the Jiminator, he's got a long way to go. It's a long road. It's a long, hard road for Jim, but we've seen him make some great comebacks. Talleyrand then still maintaining the lead from the Ferrari of Homesick, Alien, Matt Psycho clinging on with his fingertips as much as he can for the cracks of their foundation. And Talleyrand still leads going into lap 3. And questions are, how long will the soft tyre last? How good can the fuel take them into a 60-minute race? And we're only 5 minutes in already, and we're asking these questions, but they must be answered. The top 4 very close together. Good fight. Big Dan, he's kind of segregated himself. He's all alone. He's like he's got COVID again. Guesty then, Mrs. Guesty, is being hounded by the Baz. Baz doing a 2:35 last time around. That went the wrong way. And Guesty doing a 2:33.8. Staying out of trouble in the Porsche, but being hounded by the Nissans of Silverstar and the Baz. Skyjacker on those hard tyres. He's got it together now, but Jim has done an amazing lap and has caught up with the back of Skyjacker. And Skyjacker, it seems, in that Honda on hard tyres just has nothing there to give. The Honda's giving him nothing, and everyone's just driving away from him. Talleyrand still leads from Homesick, Alien, as we cutting away between the two battles. Skyjacker will have to get rather defensive now, sat alongside Jim in the Aston Martin as he looks for a gap up the inside, but Skyjacker says no, the door looked open. Oh, and Skyjacker going wide, having grip problems with those hard tyres. They just don't want to grip. Already 3 laps in, and his tyres are just not even bedded in or warmed up yet. Talleyrand still leads from the Alien, And they're keeping the same distance to Matt Psycho and Shiren. So I don't know if there is an element of fuel saving out there, if people have got their fuel maps turned down. Big Dan never turns that fuel map down. Full throttle, full burn, all the way. Even if he has to take an extra pit stop, he doesn't mind. He likes his pit. Nice to say hi to him once in a while. Bazza then has got past the delectable Getty. And the Bazza now on his way as Silverstar tries to do the same thing on the Porsche. I'm guessing Mrs. Guesty made a small mistake because 35.5 last time around from Bazza's 32.5. There you go, 3 seconds faster was the Baz in his Nissan, and now he's got to chase his good buddy Big Dan down. Guesty trying to hold a position from Silverstar as Skyjacker is back ahead of Jim. What is Jim up to? Shall we watch Jim for a bit? Because I don't know what's going on with him. Every time we cut back, he seems to be at the back of the pack again. And then we see him overtake someone and he's back at the back again. Jim having a very peculiar race at Spa. Talleyrand then still ahead of Homesick. This race ain't giving up. And these two, it's going to be full push, full burn for the whole 60 minutes. The championship is between the two of them. Homesick the better off in it. Talleyrand having to play catch up. And I imagine Homesick just wants to sit on his tail. If he can't win the race, getting second, it's just as good. Not letting Talleyrand grab those points that he needs against the alien. Looking down in the cockpit of the Ferrari, and it looks great, except it's quite shaded. We'll wait for a sunbit so you can have a good look. Ferrari looks like Ferrari racing car. Looks like. Nat Psycho still in third, Shiren fourth, Big Dan fifth, Bazza's in sixth, Guesty seventh, Silverstar in eighth, and I am assuming Skyjacker in ninth, with Jim chasing down in 10th spot. Nice 11 people. Did I miss this? We lost someone. Small toe from the Ferrari ahead, but it's just not enough into the braking zone. Cutting out away from that, and that Psycho tenacious in his driving, staying with them the best he can. Tyre wear is even between the three of them. That Psycho's used a little more fuel than the Ferraris have. The Cayman doing fine with its fuel at the moment. Big Dan, it's all similar stuff with the fuel, it's not too bad. Bazza is being caught again by Mrs. Guesty. She's on it like a car bonnet, and Bazza has to be careful. A 33.6 from the Baz, and Mrs. Guesty a 32.5, and it's going to be a clawing it back moment from Mrs. Guesty. Silverstar has dropped away from that fight, and he'll soon be caught by the Skyjacker and Jim tussle again. We'll hang. Shall we hang? Shall we hang tight and see if Jim pulls the move again on Skyjacker? He didn't quite pull the move last time. Skyjacker kind of went wide. Weird. He is weird, but he went wide. So Jim in 10th spot. He should be a lot higher in the Aston Martin as he slings it through a rouge. Look at the speed he carries up that hill and onto the tail end of the Honda, and he just breezes by like he's got a Red Bull DRS implanted in that Aston Martin. And Skyjacker on those hard tyres, little he can do. Little he can do. The race is going to come to him later. Blue skies here at Spa, and oh, hang on a minute, hang on, one down, tooting minute. So we've knocked it back 10 seconds, I believe. And here Talleyrand having to be highly defensive against Homesick Alien. We've seen these two battle many a time, and Homesick Alien trying to shove his nose up the inside. Talleyrand off the track, back on again, and they're having a bang of doors. And now things are getting serious up here, and Matt Psycho loves it. He's smelling a win. If these Ferraris are squabbling and they're going to fall out, then Matt Psycho is the man to take up the mantle, but Talleyrand is doing everything he can to keep that Ferrari wide, boy. And Matt Psycho makes a little move on the Ferrari of Homesick Alien, and that is what Talleyrand needs to see. He wants to see other cars behind him, not the black JPS. Sharon also lining up the Ferrari as Homesick Alien becomes part of the McLaren. He wants to join Matt Psycho in the cockpit of that McLaren. Look at him. It's a train of cars, and Sharon just fell off the road, and now they're widening out, and Matt Psycho going for a move, but he's going to lose the spot to the Ferrari if he's not careful. This is the problem when we've got this close quarter racing. If you go for a move, you leave yourself wide open to the guy behind. And there, look, Homesick grabbing the toe off of Talleyrand, and he's back ahead of the Psycho. And that Psycho trying to save that podium from Sharon, and it's all fun out there until it's not. Big Dan in 5th, he's all on his own, no one's catching him. Bazza in a battle with Mrs. Guesty, she's going to go for the move along the straight. They're heading towards Le Soir, but Bazza just ahead. He's going to get on those brakes, he's going to get the nose into the apex ahead of Guesty. Whoa, 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 Mrs. Guesty pulling a tight corner there, and beautiful move from Mrs. Guesty there, up and into 6th on the Bazzinator, and there was now he could do about that, I tell thee. Silver Star then, he's all alone, he's having a lonely race in 8th place, with Jim now back ahead of Skyjacker, a 33.2 for him last time around, and Skyjacker a 35.2. Those tyres are absolutely killing him. Talleyrand meanwhile having a blast. He's pulled out a gap from the Alien, and Matt Psycho has the fastest lap of the race so far, but he's also got the Russian sensation all up and in his business. So he's got to be careful. He cannot put a foot wrong. We're coming into 14 minutes, coming up to 14 minutes in this race, not even a quarter done. The tanks are about half on Sharon. The tyres are getting lovely and bedded in. The sun is gleaming down. If these guys are really waiting for a patch of rain, then it's a long wait, because I think this one's going to be sunny all the way. Homesick Alien then getting purples as he chases down Talleyrand again. Matt Psycho in 3rd. Then we have Sharon. Big Dan in the sexy Viper. He's got no woes today. Guesty. Who's lost? Oh no, Mrs. Guesty is behind Big Dan. Sorry, I apologise. I thought she got past someone again. I thought there was someone between Bazza and Big Dan. Obviously not. So Big Dan, eluding the cameraman there, and Mrs. Guesty hunkering down a 33.0 last time around against Big Dan's 33.5. So it's a long road, but she can slowly catch him half a second at a time. The Bazzinator did not want to lose that spot. He's coming back for more. And Silver Star now is being caught by Jim 66. And Skyjacker, he's just out on a nice Sunday run in his Honda. He's got a nip to Tesco, and then he's got to pop into Aldi because the fruit's cheaper at Aldi. And then he might treat himself. To the newsagents and get himself a monster, kind of monster, one special beer, 2 for 1. Right then, Talleyrand then leads from Homesick Alien. Homesick Alien's getting those purples, blasting away the purples, but Matt Psycho is still the holder of the fastest lap. Matt Psycho though is losing distance now to the Ferraris. They're pulling away. Their fuel is slightly better than the McLaren. And we've got half tanks all with the top 4 as we hit nearly 16 minutes into this 60-minute race. And Big Dan, he's a mile away from the 4 in front, but he is being caught by Mrs. Guest, who did a 32.2 last time around, and she's dropping the medium-clad Nissan. Jim's got past. No, Jim's just. Shall we go back? Because it's only just happened, and it's always good to see. So Jim getting on the tail of the Nissan, coming down the straight into the braking zone. Jim's going to have a look up the inside. Heavy on the brakes. And he's through like a boss. Beautiful stuff there And Silverstar probably could have defended a bit more, but he probably saw Jim 66 coming through and thought, I don't want to impede his race again. Give him a nudge on lap 1. It's enough for one day. So Jim moves on forward, and can he catch the other Nissan? Mrs. Guesty, meanwhile, on a mission. Oh no, Mrs. Guesty's gone a little wide. Where's the Baz? The Baz is through. The Baz is through. And that's unfortunate there for Mrs. Guesty. Just a slight wide moment. And the Bazza gets that position back. Jim, he'll be chasing down as well, remember, but there is quite a chasm of a gap between himself and Mrs. Guesty. Silverstar chasing Jim through as Skyjacker. He's just having a little poodle around, checking out some of the sights here in Belgium. Talleyrand, meanwhile, different race entirely, up at the front here with the soft tyres on, and the Ferraris are in a league of their own now. I thought Talleyrand made a mistake there, letting Homesick Alien through. Hang on, I'm going to pause. Still chuffing poorly. It's been like 2 weeks. It took me quicker. I got over cancer quicker than I got over this bloody chesty cough. It's shocking. So Talleyrand leads. Did I say that out loud? Talleyrand leads with Homesick Alien chasing him down, and the Ferraris have disappeared now. And Homesick Alien looking for another splice against Talleyrand, and this is delicious. I say bring back the Ferrari Sprint Cup. Oh, they are, but they're bringing it back with the Alphas. We want to see these bad boys racing. Look at them, they're beautiful. They're majestic. I suppose it's been Ferrari heavy. Oh shoot, I don't know if that's a secret. Scrub that. I didn't say anything. Forget anything about Sprint Cups and what car it's going to be. I am so good at keeping the secrets that I am not meant to know. I very rarely ever spit them out. Shoot. Guess we knew what's coming after GTMC then. Oh dear. Tuesday night racing. Oh, Shiren then 4th. Big Dan 5th. Bazza in 6th. Guesty in 7th. Jim is 8th. After doing away with Silverstar, he has absolutely left him in the mud. He's just gone. Jim on a singular mission at the moment with laser focus to try and catch up that Porsche ahead. 2:31.2 for Jim last time around on those medium tyres. And Mrs. Guesty a 37.3, but we did see her going wide. And the tyres are getting used, the fuel's getting used. It's all coming close to pit stop soon. I think, yeah, they've probably got about just over 30 minutes of fuel in that car, in these cars, going by this. The tyres and the fuel is going to be just right, running out about the same time. Sun's still gleaming down on us here at Spa, and Matt Psycho at 2:29.4 last time out, and he's moving away from Shiren, who's only managing 2:30s, but that Porsche, the McLaren and the Porsche, using fuel up a lot more than the Ferraris at this point. Big Dan, I'm surprised he's still got any fuel left. Look at him tearing his mediums apart. The medium's more torn than the soft runners ahead of him. The Bazza, he can see Big Dan. And Mrs. Guesty can see Bazza. So we've got an implosion of racing coming our way before the checkered flag comes out between Big Dan, Bazza, Guesty and Jim 66. Silverstar's there as well. So it's just 20 minutes of racing. It's not really spaced out too much. And Talleyrand then still leads after 21 minutes, but he's had pressure for every single one of the 9 laps that he led. And Homesick Alien is just absolutely possessed on getting past that Ferrari ahead of him. It's Matt Psycho chases them down. He's got the fastest lap of the race so far. But look at these 2 Ferraris, it's crazy. They're just stuck together all the way around. This is what you want your Verstappen and Perez to be all about. Your Hamilton and Bottas. Oh, such great championships we could have had for 8 years if they'd just put someone competitive in Mercedes. And same for Red Bull, put someone competitive in it. Perez was a midfield runner at best that got one lucky race a season. At best. And they put him in the fastest car. What a waste of talent. What a waste. So, and I feel the same with Bottas. I think Rosberg gave Hamilton a run for his money. Bottas just didn't show up. I like Bottas, but not in he's a back running car, not even midfield. I'd say he's So Talleyrand then leads the way from Homesick Alien. The Hamilton fans are crazy. He got pole, be happy. Matt Psycho then in third with Shiren in fourth. Big Dan. He's just avoiding. Oh, Mrs. Guesty's got herself back ahead of the Bazinator. Now, what happened? She did a good lap time. He did a bad lap time. Do the math. You work it out. Jim's catching him. He's not doing any bad lap times, just the ones at the beginning. Even not, well, yeah, lap 3 at 39. I wonder what happened to him. Silver Star then in ninth with Skyjacker going for that very bold. Is he going to even try and make a pit stop? He's not going to make it because he's on half a tank of fuel. So he will have to pit at least once. But I think the Ferraris are going to go for that as well. Well, they're on a quarter already, so hopefully the race is going to come back to Skyjack, but I think he's over a pit stop behind most of the field now. Homesick Alien, it's a long pit stop here at Spa though, and it's all the way down that straight. You lose a lot of time. And at the moment, the two Ferraris in a race of their own. That Psycho is clinging on to that podium, but Shiren fancies a piece of it. Shiren looked like he was dropping away from that Psycho, and he's closing back up. But Shiren is getting through his tyres quite handily. Big Dan, 2:32.5, his fastest lap of the race. He must have got the call that Senorita Guesty and the Bazinator, Signore Baz, are on their way. And Jim isn't that far behind him either, going faster. He's doing 32s, Baz did a 34, and Senorita Guesty did a 32 also. Awesome stuff. Silver Star keeping it real in ninth ahead of Skyjacker as the Ferraris lead, and Talleyrand gets a little bit of a breathing space. Homesick Alien must be backing off a bit, maybe trying to save some fuel, try and do it in the pit stops. Now if I was Homesick Alien, wouldn't it be prudent to come in and try and get that flying lap out there? Although the tyres just aren't tearing up yet, are they? So even fresh rubber probably isn't going to be that much faster than what they can do on the rubber they've got. But he's got to do something. He's stuck behind that Talleyrand. Can't find his way past. Matt Psycho in third place, and Shiren keeping him honest in fourth, but Shiren's tyres are telling a story of woe. Big Dan, the man in the Dodge Viper, his medium's starting to get crusty at the front, but he's got a lovely space to play with before Guesty and Bazza arrive on the scene. Jim 66 chasing them down. Silver Star in ninth. He's lost track of Jim here. Oof, Jesus. Skyjack has gone into the 38s. He really is experimenting with his strategy. So Talleyrand and Homesick Alien out there in the lead. We're down to a quarter of a tank of fuel, 25 minutes into this 60-minute race. And it's definitely a one-stop strategy coming from most of these guys. They're going to get to half an hour, aren't they? Quite easily. And that Psycho, yeah, he should get to half hour on that tank. And so should Shiren. Big Dan. Big Dan's done really well with his fuel. I was saying the man doesn't play with his fuel management system, but save more fuel than the guys ahead of him. Get Senorita Guesty, keeping Baz behind. Baz's rear tyres are just hardly scratched, aren't they? No, it's probably a front right car, but still, I think that back end will sway a little bit. It's gripping on for dear life. Jim, 33.1 for Jim last time around. A 33.1 from Bazza. 33.1 from Guesty. How amazing is that? So the three cars fighting, all doing a 33.1 last time around. They all did a 33.1. 35.6 from Silver Star, but he might be doing some major fuel saving. He's been keeping to a delta of 35 all the way. And Skyjacker, oh, he's just pulled a 34.3 out of the bag. But he did at least 4 laps in 38s. Bold strategy. Ferraris then out in the leads, doing what Ferraris do. Win. Well, in everything except for F1, but yeah. And there's the championship leader, Homesick Alien, looking at Talleyrand. It doesn't look like Talleyrand is going to be baby today. Homesick Alien's going to give it its all, as he always does, and Matt Psycho's almost losing sight of the Ferraris now. His fuel is flashing, and Shiren could go in for the kill here, because Matt Psycho may have to look after that. He might have to lift and coast and short shift for this lap alone, and Shiren could come into the pits ahead of Matt Psycho, but I'm pretty sure Shiren's going to be pitting at the end of this lap as well, quite a little short of the halfway mark. Big Dan is doing fine with his fuel at the moment, and Guesty catching up though. Big Dan doing a 35.8, Guesty doing a 33.5, but the fuel started flashing on the Porsche, and the Baz, he's got plenty of fuel. He did a 33.9. Jim, his fuel's doing good. He did a 32.8. He's catching up the guys ahead of him. Silver Star is looking after his fuel, and he's still staying to that delta of 35. He's doing a great job. And 33.4 there from Skyjacker. He started turning up the wick in the Honda, and Talleyrand still leads from Homesick Alien, but Homesick Alien's fuel is flashing. Matt Psycho is on vapors. Shiren though, only a little bit more fuel than Matt Psycho, but he's chasing him down, and this is going to be a tight pit stop for the McLaren and the Porsche. And I think the Ferraris are going to come in also, and this is going to shuffle up the deck. Although I believe these four could possibly get back out ahead of Big Dan. We will see, but Big Dan's front tyres are absolutely crying out. Guesty's going to make a pit stop at the end of this lap. The Baz could go for one more lap possibly. Jim's definitely going to go for a little longer. Silver Star's going for a little longer, and Skyjacker is going to go for a little longer. He's pulling out some nice lap times now. No one goes in. Where's Matt Psycho? Matt Psycho must have gone in. There he goes. Matt Psycho and Shiren have both gone in. Matt Psycho was on 0 fuel when he got to the pit lane, and it's a long pit lane now. Big Dan, he's going to come in. His tyres are shot. His fuel is flashing. He's got no reason to stay out. Guesty as well will be popping into the pits, and the Baz, I reckon, may, just for the fun of it, pop into the pits. So Shiren's still not there, and Matt Psycho's still not there. It's an eternity for these guys. You can see why they're all saving fuel out there. Homesick was playing very risky game, going again. The tyres, Shiren's used them up nicely. Homesick's virtually used them up. The Ferrari's still going at it. And Homesick pushing on now. He really does want to be in the lead before the pit stops take place. Big Dan then coming around Lesaur, and he'll go by Matt Psycho, who's still in the pits, and Shiren. It's a long fueling rig they've got in this. Bazza goes up, Jim goes up. Guesty goes in. Guesty into the pits. Silver Star goes around. No, it's not quite there yet. Where is the pit entry here? I honestly don't have a clue. Whoa. See, that's the pit exit. Matt Psycho still hasn't moved, nor has Shiren. Guesty comes down. Skyjacker has gone in. He's going to need... oh, that's mental crazy. He knows what he's doing, but it's mental crazy. Talaran then, still out there. Homesick Alien on vapors at the moment. Big Dan, he'll be coming in next time, as will be Bazza. Jim's caught Bazza up a retreat there from these two, the Nissan and the Aston Martin, sorry. And Silver Star risking it for a biscuit, carrying on round. Matt Psycho is still in the pit lane, so is Shiren. I could have a cup of tea in the time this lot take the pits. Talaran then comes around into the chicane. These two are going to throw it into the pits. Now look at that, nose to tail, as they come into the very long pit lane. Big Dan is third, he'll be pitting next. Matt Psycho still hasn't got going. Has he stopped? And Shiren has got going. He hasn't totally filled up. He wants to get a jump on Matt Psycho out the pits, and he does. That is one hell of a pit stop here. Nearly a whole pit. I mean, a whole lap's worth in the pits. Matt Psycho then comes out after losing the spot to the Russian sensation. He's gone for a racing soft tyre, as has Shiren. Guesty still not moving yet, as neither is Skyjacker. It's an eternity, and Talleyrand only just gets to the pit garage, as does Homesick Alien. And Big Dan then enters the pits, as does Jim, ahead of Bazza. So Jim's... oh no, I won't go back. Jim's got the move done on Bazza before the pits. Silver Star coming around. He's got no fuel on. How far away from the pit lane is he? Oh, that's all right. It's here. That's lucky, because he had no fuel. Shiren, a long lap to go, but these boys take a while to fill up. Look at those numbers just going up. 31, 32, 33. They're filling it up with a cup. It's like they're going to the sink and getting a cup and then pouring it in and then getting... well, it'd probably be quicker with a cup. So almost everyone's into the pits for the longest pit stop on the calendar. Unbelievable stuff. Shiren getting the move done on Matt Psycho. Interesting stuff there. How did he do it? He had a bit more fuel than Matt Psycho, in all fairness, and he hasn't filled up as much as Matt Psycho has. Matt Psycho went 100%. Shiren went 98%. Talaran then 69% there. Homesick Alien 71%. It's a battle of the pit stops here. Shiren then coming up to the stadium part of the track. I don't for 1 second think Shiren and Matt Psycho can jump the Ferraris. I'm pretty sure the Ferraris will be back out ahead. There we go. Talleyrand 85%. He's got taken on board. Homesick Alien's gone for 90%. He wants to get heavy with his accelerator and burn some fuel, baby. Big Dan should be the next man out, you'd think, but his fuel's no. Well, Homesick's still moving. So yeah, Big Dan, but it's going to be tight between Big Dan, Jim and Bazza. Look at them all. Silver Star slowly fill in. Has Skyjacker got out? Skyjacker is out ahead of Guesty. He's gained a position. So that's not bad, is it? Say he was that far behind. And these two will be trying to claim some scalps with these guys in the pits. Talleyrand out there then. He's in the lead. He's got a lovely gap between himself and Homesick Alien. Shiren has strategized his position from Matt Psycho, and they're all getting purples now. They've got fresh tyres on. Jim's the first one out, and Skyjacker does not come around to beat him. Skyjacker comes down towards Le Sourd. It's going to be tight, though. It's going to be tight. He's going to be able to catch up with Jim at some point, I would think. Skyjacker then moves up to 6th. Guesty up into 7th. And Silver Star still in the pits. Bazza's coming down the pits. It looks like he's got the move done on Big Dan. No, Big Dan is ahead. Big Dan's going to come out of the pits. Skyjacker's coming through a route. It's going to be very tight between these guys. And it's Skyjacker and Guesty gets ahead of Big Dan. Big Dan coming out of the pits. He's gone from medium tyres. Guesty's on the softs, and so is Skyjacker. Bazza comes out as well. He's gone for a soft set of tyres for the remaining 24 minutes of this race as Silverstar exits the pits. A medium set of tyres, full tank of fuel. Don't think he'll need that full tank. No one else put full. Oh no, Bazza did. Oh, Big Dan skating through the chicane there. Chasing down the Porsche and the Honda of Skyjacker and Guesty. Jim made a huge jump there from the pits, and he's gone for a racing hard tyre. Oh, that might be a mistake. Matt Psycho, he's on the softs. He's chasing down Shiren, and Jim's going to find himself in the same position that Skyjacker was at the beginning of the race, although it hasn't hurt Skyjacker one bit, has he? Where's the gap? It's a big gap that Skyjacker's got to drive into. Jim's gone for less fuel, so he's gonna just take it easy. He's gonna try and cruise this one round. He knows he can't chip into the top 4, but he saw an opportunity to beat the guys that were around him. Talleyrand then leads, and where is Homesick? Where is he? He's miles away. Talleyrand's had an absolute blinder, hasn't he? I know he's putting less fuel than Homesick Alien, but he's doing super stuff out there. And Shiren isn't that far behind the Alien, but I don't think that Porsche has got the pace that Homesick Alien is showing today. That Psycho really lost out in those pit lanes. He must be on the radio to his pit crew saying, well, what did you do? What happened there? How did the green Porsche end up ahead of us? Lots of questions need to be asked. It was Dave on the front left. Been on the drink again, hasn't he? Jim 66, nothing wrong with his pit crew. They did the job for him, didn't he? He is absolutely wanging that Aston Martin through a Rouge. But all he's driving for really is to try and keep Skyjacker, who did a 2:31.7 last time out. Jim, it's an outlap, so we can't see what competitive times they're doing with each other. Guesty still chasing down Skyjacker, and this is going to be a tight battle. She's got Big Dan hunting her, and she's got the Baz hunting. And Silverstar, it's got a long journey to go. Talleyrand then, relatively not bad, is it, for the last 21 minutes of this race? Hasn't got the pressure he had before, nowhere near. Homesick Alien really dropped away after those pit stops. 10 seconds quicker, look. 4:32.6 for Talleyrand with his pit stop and outlap. And Homesick Alien was at 4:42. So yeah, it's nearly 10 seconds quicker than Talleyrand. I mean, Homesick. Talleyrand was 10 seconds quicker his pit stop than Homesick Alien's. Homesick Alien then does a 2:29 for his outlap. It's a 2:29 from the other Ferrari. Shiren a 2:29 also. Right, is it broken? Everyone's doing the same thing. Matt Psycho also at 2:29. Jimbo. Skyjacker chasing him down. Give him something to do for the next 20 minutes. As Jim is on the hard tyres. Jim probably not so sure about the rules. Thinks he has to use hard tyres. I think you have to use hard tyres in a feature race. But when it's an endurance race, it's game on. Do it as you want. Win it the way you want to win it. We won't tell you how to do it. So Talleyrand then leads from Homesick Alien. Homesick Alien giving it big balls, but I think he's lost the battle in the pits. Shiren trying to stay with that Ferrari after making a great move on Matt Psycho, well, his team did, in the pits. Let's have a look at those then. 4:43.2 for Shiren's pit out in lap and pit stop. And Matt Psycho's was a 4:50, yeah, some 7 seconds longer. But there's Matt Psycho in the distance, chugging on, trying to catch up with the green Porsche. Jim is just going to be looking into his wing mirrors come the end of the race with Skyjacker. He did a 2:35.1 on those hard tyres. Skyjacker a 2:29.2. Tight stuff. Oh no, Guesty has been caught up by Bazza and Big Dan, and we're getting our elbows out here. And Guesty there trying to keep Big Dan on the inside. Big Dan falls off the track, skates back on ahead of the Guesty, and Bazza trying to get the move done as well as Big Dan goes through and up and into 7th spot. Guesty trying to defend against the Nissan of Bazza, and Silverstar, the other Nissan, is in 10th spot. Talleyrand then gets the fastest lap of the race at 28.5. Homesick Alien comes around and he also does a 29.1, and Sharon manages a 28.9. A little faster than the Alien, it would seem. Matty Psycho 29.4 for him, and Jim Skyjacker's chasing Jim in it. Big Dan past Guesty. Look at this little battling we've got here. Sats alongside the Baz as we watch Big Dan and Guesty battling it out ahead. We've got just coming up to 17 minutes left of this race, and look at the Nissan gain on the Porsche here along the straight. The Nissan is going to absolutely open it up, go balls deep, and get ahead of the Dodge and the Porsche, we think. Do a little lift there. Coming up to a heavy braking zone to the chicane. Is there going to be tears? Is there going to be emotional damage? Everyone gets through. Sweet. That's lovely stuff. Lovely stuff. So 7th, 8th and 9th are locked in an absolute crazy battle here. It's great stuff. Talleyrand's the fastest man on track at the moment and leading this race. And Big Dan just wants to pull away from the Porsche and the Nissan of the Baz. The Baz lining up. Guesty now coming up over a Rouge. Can he get the toe on the Porsche in the Nissan? Pulling in. Guesty staying over to the right to try and stay defensive. Keep that race in line. It's a drag race now. Up and to the line, and it's all on the brakes, and Big Baz braking at the last possible minute, only just making the corner, and Guesty gets through and stays in 8th place. Bazza again trying to get the moves done on Guesty. Doesn't flip over easily. So Guesty. Oh, loving the defensive driving from Guesty. She's on the curbs. She's making sure that Bazza has to go the long way round if he wants to go around her. And the Baz just can't find a chink in Guesty's armour at the moment. Oh, Big Bag Dan has had a big moment, but he's saved it. He's scooped it up, and he's cracking on. And Guesty would have seen that and smiled, I'm sure, seeing the Dodge Viper sneaking around all over the place. Look, she's closed up. She's closing up back onto the Dodge Viper with Bazza pushing her all the way. This is tight quarter racing here, down for 7th, 8th and 9th, and Bazza, he saw a gap, and Guesty tried to close the door, but Bazza was already there. He had his foot in the door, and he went, are you interested in this insurance? Have you found God? And Guesty left. And Bazza, look at him, he's on Dan now. He's not messing about, is the Baz. The Nissan is absolutely lively as hell, and he wants to get the Dodge now. Big Baz coming to life with only 14 minutes left of this race, and I am aware there are other people. Talleyrand still leads from Homesick Alien, And I don't think that distance has changed between the two of them. Skyjacker's the story, isn't he? He jumped everyone. He jumped 4 places in the pit stops. And he has caught Jim up with those hard tyres. And I believe he's got the rules mixed up. He's thought it's like a feature race, the 30-minute races where they have to use a mandatory hard tyre. But the endurance races, they just don't have to. And now Skyjacker on the soft tyre has caught up with Jim. And Jim is just having to make that Aston Martin. Oh, what did he do? He went way off and he's crashed it. How bizarre. I'm sure there was no contact there. Oh, look. No, I just think he got unsettled by the curves, did Jimbo? Sorry, Jimbo. I'm pretty sure on the curbs, that was the most, oh sorry, that is the most bizarrest thing in the world I've ever seen. And Skyjacker then up and into 5th, and that's not a bad turnaround in your race. Bazza is ahead of Big Dan. Oh, I'm sorry. When did that happen? Same time Skyjacker did the Aston Martin, I think, and it's just a straight speed. Comes up the inside of him, and boom. He has got soft tyres on, but still a great move there as Big Dan tries to live with the medium tyres. And Senorita Guesti is all up and in his business as Talleyrand crosses the line to start lap 19. And my word, we're chugging on here. Homesick Alien, he lost that time in the pits and he he couldn't recoup it. He could not recoup it. Shiren tried to live with the Ferrari, but I think Matt Psycho is starting to catch up now with Shiren. Around Lesaur, and Matt Psycho also coming into Uju. Skyjacker then, after doing away with Jim's got himself back dusted off, but on those hard tyres, he's got the Baz. He's got the Baz on a push, on a last-minute push in the Nissan. Big Dan in 8th on the medium tyres, Guesti in 9th. They're all very close. And Jimbo could lose out altogether here. There's 3 people that could take Jim's 6th place away from him. Jim 66 in 6th. It's like it's meant to be. Skyjacker in 5th with Matt Psycho 4th. Chasing down Shiren, whom is in 3rd. Homesick Alien's got the fastest lap of the race, a 28.2 against his teammate Talleyrand. But the gap does not seem to be getting any smaller between the two of them. And we thought Talleyrand put less fuel in, and Homesick put more in so he could throttle it a little bit, but it's not worked out that way, and Homesick very wide. That's how hard he's pushing. Shiren chasing him down. He's doing 28s, 29s, 30s. You mention it, you'll do it. Matt Psycho in the 28s, 29s. Chasing them down, and we're coming up to the last 11 minutes of this race. Skyjacker, he's entertaining himself, going from one side of the track to another. La di da di da di da, la di da di da, dun da dun da dun da da, VCR. La di da di da di da, la di da di da, la di da di da di da, VRC. Bacon, eggs, he's thinking. Look at him wiggling away again, entertaining himself, bless him. He's bored. You're bored, little racer. But Jim's catching him up again, so he best not to play around too much, wasting his tyres. Jimbo. Then we've got the Baz catching Jim. Big Dan in 8th and Guesti in 9th. Silver Star is 10th. I know we haven't cut to him too much, but he's done some lovely lap times since putting those soft tyres on. 32s, his fastest so far. He's getting it. He's getting it. See, every race he's getting it. Talleyrand is in another world. Look, I think Homesick must have lost even more time. 33.0 for Homesick last time out. With Talleyrand doing a 29. That's another 4 seconds lost for Homesick Alien, and Shiren did a 30, 3 seconds faster than the Alien. I would have thought he was closer than that. You would think he would be closer, but nay. And Matt Psycho seems to have dropped back from Shiren. I thought he was catching Shiren up. 10 minutes to go of this 60-minute race, the penultimate race before the grand finale that's at Daytona, I think. We're off to America land. Let's hope none of our competitors get shot while they're there. Skyjacker then. Oh, he's made a mistake in the chicane, and that's let Bazza through. Oh my word, what's happening to Skyjacker? He was playing around, he was la-di-da-ing, and now he's made a mistake into the corner, and that's let Bazza up into 5th, Jim in 6th, Skyjacker now in 7th, Big Dan just ahead of Guesty. We've got some crazy racing. How Jim's doing a fantastic job on those racing hard tyres, and Bazza has absolutely turned this race around. He was nowhere in the first half. Coming into the last 9 minutes, Bazza's up into 5th, and Jim is hunting him down for it. Skyjacker threw it away in the final corner. I think he's a bit bored. I don't know. He's done a 35 and a 46. Maybe he's worried about his fuel. I think his fuel's fine. We've got 10 minutes to go. He's got loads of fuel. So Big Dan then in 8th place with Guesty going for a move. Guesty up the inside. Guesty on the brakes. Is it going to be the Porsche Cayman on the soft tyres? Gets the move done lovely and easily. And Big Dan, I don't think he defended that one too much. He knew that the medium tyres just weren't going to cut it in the corner, but he's back up all over Guesty onto the straight. That Dodge Viper, formidable in a straight line, it seems. Skyjacker back in the fight again. Maybe he was that bored. He wanted to give these guys the position so he could come back at them. Backing out of it now though. Of racing to go. Is that 3 or 4 laps? On lap 20, and the Honda is all up and in Jim's business, and Bazza up and into 5th. Loads of fuel. I think a few of them have overfilled, haven't they? With only 8 minutes to go, a lot of them out there have still got quite a bit of fuel on. So Skyjacker then. The clouds are looking grey out there. I must say, the sun's gone away. Oh, and Sky there, right up Jim's Jaxie is Rederier. Guesty past Big Dan, but Big Dan set in chase. Silver Star is rocking it. With Talleyrand then easily leading in a world of his own. Homesick Alien. It's all lost in that pit lane. Shiren, it was all gained in the pit lane. Look at the clouds forming above the track. It's almost dark out there. I'm surprised we're not seeing the headlights coming on yet. With the Baz in 5th, Skyjacker 6th. They'll be keeping an eye on their maps at that rain, I'm sure. So, Skyjacker's got past Jim. Did we see that? I don't think we did. I think we did. I can't remember. But Skyjacker now in 6th place, ahead of Jim in 7th. Those hard tyres really hurting Jim. Big Dan's ahead of Guesty, Senorita Guesty. Oh, huge lap last time around, 2:45, lost a lot of time. So Big Dan gains that position, and he's chasing down the hard tyre-cladded Aston Martin in the last 6 minutes of this race. And Big Dan's got his lights on. He knows it's getting darker. And Talleyrand's that chicane in 1st place. This is a great shot for his championship ambitions. Unfortunately though, Homesick Alien is only in 2nd, and he would have liked the Alien losing out on more points than that. Oh no, Shiren's made a mistake, and so has Matt Psycho. Is there rain? Is it wet? No, it's dry in that area. The track must be just getting cold. The tyres are old. But yeah, both of them went wide in the chicane there. That's how hard they're pushing. And Shiren wants to keep that podium ahead of Matt Psycho. We've not seen any windscreen wipers going on yet, but it is definitely dull. It is definitely dull out there. And what do they see? Yeah, look, very grey. Very grey. It was blue and white when we first started this race. It's looking rather grey. Bazza finding his way around. There is no rain yet, but it definitely looks like it's threatening. Right at the very end of this race, I think they'll be able to live with a little splattering of rain. I don't think there'll be any tyre changes unless it really chucks down. Skyjacker then in 6th spot. He hasn't got the pace of the Baz. Look at the Baz, 2:30. With Skyjacker doing a 2:33. Matt Psycho chasing down Shiren, furiously trying to get that podium back. And Talleyrand cruising on home. 4 minutes to go in this race. And it's for Talleyrand to throw away at this point, with Homesick Alien chasing him down. And he's, I don't know if Homesick Alien would be pushing as hard. That win doesn't look like it's on today, and settling for second might be the way to go, rather than throwing the Ferrari at the scenery, chasing a pipe dream. Shiren in 3rd. Matt Psycho's throwing it at the scenery. He wants that podium. The Bazinator having an absolute race. He is the racer of the day for me. Very close to Skyjacker though. Skyjacker turning it around, but Bazza really came to life on his home track. Has had to fight all the way for that 5th place. Skyjacker in 6th. Jim, the hard tyres hurt him. I think that was a guaranteed 5th place, but he opted for hard tyres, and one can only wonder why. Big Dan's catching him with their medium tyres. Guesty having an absolute blinder of a race. Just that one mistake on lap 20 really screwed her. And Silverstar in 10th place. So Talleyrand holds the line, holds the lead. So getting misty out there now, very misty. I'm surprised we're not seeing some spots of rain. I've heard it's raining just away from the racetrack. My friend who stood in a field in the middle of nowhere says it's piddling it down there, and it's on its way here. But we have only got 2.5 minutes of racing to go, so there won't even be a chance of a pit stop anyway, because they'll be on their final lap. Is it wet down the straight? Are they kicking up spray? I don't think they are. I just think the track's getting very slippery in these conditions, but there isn't actually anything. Just a little water in the air, possibly. Skyjacker then in 6th, with Jim in 7th, staying ahead of Big Dan for now. But Big Dan's pushing on. Jim did a 2:34.4 last time around. Big Dan doing a 2:33.6. So Big Dan absolutely pushing on. Guesty in 9th, with Silverstar in 10th. Silverstar's tyres almost shot to pieces. Then it's Talleyrand leads this race against Homesick Alien. There's a huge gap between them, and Talleyrand, he could do a couple of donuts really before he got to the finishing line. Still got 1 minute and 20 seconds left on the clock, so this probably is their penultimate lap. This is the white flag lap, across the line to start the final lap. Talleyrand leads from Homesick Alien. Shiren in 3rd. Despite everything, he's managed to keep hold of that 3rd. Matt Psycho has thrown everything at him that he possibly could. Every curveball, every lap time. And Matt Psycho just could not catch up with the Porsche. Oh, Matt Psycho's gone real wide there. Is it the tyres? Is it the tyres going away? Fuel's starting flashing. They've only got 1 lap after this one. Oh, maybe not. These guys might not even get to the line. These might finish. No, they're going to get to the line before it runs out. But Matt Psycho, he's gone slow. He's going very slow. Where's the Baz? Oh, Matt Psycho's waiting for the clock. He's counting the clock out. Shiren wants that other lap. He don't care. He likes it. So Shiren crosses the line to go another lap, and Matt Psycho slowing down so he doesn't have to do another lap, and the Baz not close enough to force Matt Psycho to push on. And here comes Matt. The time has run out, and Matt will take the flag for 4th place. Great drive from Matt Psycho there. should have cracked on. You never know. That final lap, you might have caught Shiren. So the Baz in 5th with Skyjacker 6th. Jim in 7th. Big Dan's not managed to catch him just yet. And Bazza brings it around. Can he stay ahead of Skyjacker? The top 3 with Talleyrand's, Homesick Alien and Shiren. Shiren's tyres were worse than yours. I reckon you could have pushed Shiren in that final lap. So Bazza then comes up to the chicanes on his home turf. All his family are here. They are beaming with pride as he brings the Nissan home in 5th place. Great result, great drive from the great Belgium. Get the waffles on, lads. In 5th. Jim next then, I think. Yeah, these two are behind him. So Jim grabs that 6th. How did he get ahead of Skyjacker? Skyjacker must have dropped back. Oh, fuel for Skyjacker. Gets himself 7th though. Big Dan gets 8th. And Senorita Guesti not that far behind really. That's a great drive from Guesti for 9th place. And Silverstar not that far behind really. Some good pace in that Nissan from Silverstar. And I said he put too much fuel in there. Look at it. It's redlining it as he's coming over the line. And Silverstar finishes in 10th as Talleyrand comes to complete his lap race and get the win. Pole win. Didn't get the fastest lap though. Homesick Alien gets the fastest lap, but Talleyrand takes the important win. Great drive from the boss. Great stuff. Homesick Alien bringing it in 2nd. Ooh, no fuel, but he gets there. And Shiren can't catch him up, but that fuel is so tight. Look at it. Boom. And Shiren coming across, wiggling to try and get 3rd. I imagine he also has very little fuel. So, that was round 9. And Talleyrand does get that all-important win to pull himself closer to the table. I can now reveal the table. I don't know which one to read you. I don't know. We'll do both. What the hell? What are we rushing off for? Anything? No. So before dropped scores at the end of this round, the table stands. Homesick Alien on 434.5 points. Talleyrand in 2nd on 433.5 points. Shiren in 3rd on 312 points. Matt Psycho 4th on 285 points. Jim in 5th on 273 points. Miyumi 6th on 267 points. Skyjacker 7th on 256 points. Ensign Newark, Big Dan, is 8th on 207 points. Bazza's 9th on 197 points going into that final round. Only 10 points between Ensign and Bazza. That'll be interesting. Silverstar is in 10th on 130 points. Mrs. Guesti is 11th on 118.5 points. Jokers is 12th on 111.5 points. Electric 13th on 91.5 points. Racer Brown 14th on 40 points. Thingamajig 15th on 38 points. Groot in 16th on 23 points. Digital Blasphemy in 17th on -3 points. Right, after drop scores then, I wonder if Digital Blasphemy will get some points back from drop scores. Right then, going into the final round, the next round, we've got Homesick Alien. After drop scores is on 337 points. Talleyrand in 2nd on 320 points, 20 and a half points. So 16 and a half points to find at Daytona. Mayumi is 3rd on 267 points with Matt Psycho 4th on 251 points. Shiren is 5th on 237 points. Skyjacker 6th on 229 points. Jim is 7th on 204 points. Bazza is 8th on 172.5 points. Ensign Newark is 9th on 163.5 points. Then Silverstar is 10th on 116.5 points, ahead of Mrs. Guesti in 11th on 113.5 points. That's an interesting battle going into the final round between those two. Jokers is 12th with 111.5 points. If he comes back for the final round, that's going to be fiery. Electric 13th on 91.5 points. Racer Brown 14th on 40 points. Thingamajig 15th on 38 points. Groot 16th on 23 points. And Digital Blasphemy 17th on -3 points. So, do not miss that final round. There is a couple of battles out there. I mean, it's going to be a tough one for Talleyrand to try and find 17 points, but you never know. You never know. Either so, it was a great win today by Talleyrand. Oh, and Shiren, take a boo, my son. There you go. Take a boo, my son. That's it then, I think. I was your broadcaster and your commentator, Isaac Cox. Thank you for joining us here at the Virtual Racers Club. Remember, we promote world peace here in the Virtual Racers Club, so just keep it that peace and love in your hearts as you go on. Spread the peace, man. Spread the love. And I will be hitting you up again for some likes and subscribes with the GTMC, is it round 4? I think it's at the Red Bull Ring. So join us then. That was a crap picture to leave it on as well. Sorry, there you go. And I've been taking all the stuff off, Anna, so it just looks nice. Oh, the back of everyone's car. The rain didn't come, did it? That's about as good as it's going to get. So, the rain didn't come, but we had a great time anyway. Thank you for joining us here at the Virtual Racers Club. Keep an eye out. Well, you've got to subscribe just to pick up the next race, because we don't use the radio times. We will try. We'll try and be more regimented or schedule these things so you guys know when they're going to pop up on YouTube. But at the moment, I'm enjoying the Panzer attack, where you don't know it's coming. Boom, there's a stream. Boom, there's a stream. Boom, there's a stream. Peace and love. Peace and love. I was only joking earlier about the sprint races coming back, the Sprint Cup, and using the Alpha. It wasn't really. I was joking. Don't start hitting Discord saying, "Oh, we're using Alpha 4Cs for the next Sprint Cup," because we might not be. Peace and love.